In New York City, New York decides that Uber drivers can't place ads in their cars, although placing ads inside of taxis is apparently perfectly acceptable.
Xbox, Twitter, Uber,
Postmates,
Netflix, MoviePass,
Google,
Facebook, eBay,
DoorDash,
Apple, Amazon, Airbnb,
The Apptrepreneur. Hey everyone, this is Kevin, the Apptrepreneur. And look, I know we all don't like ads. If we're all being perfectly honest, we would like everything to be ad-free, commercial-free, but the sad reality is ads pay for a lot of what we do. Heck, this channel alone is primarily supported by ads. A good more than 50% of my income is because of ad revenue. So if you're using an ad blocker, please don't. I mean, all I can do is ask you and hope that you say, okay, I won't block your ads, but what can you do? Well, anyway, something interesting has happened because I think advertising was one of the next big things for rideshare. You see ads on taxis all the time, especially in New York City, and they're annoying, but you know that they pay the bills. You know that they are paying the taxi companies lots of money to have those ads both outside and inside the cab. That's why they have those little TV screens, by the way. And for Uber drivers, ads could have been like a good little extra source of income. Heck, I am currently wrapping my car with Wrapify, and if I was doing rideshare, that would just add a little bit more money on top of my daily ride, so I think ads could help drivers. However, for some strange reason, New York has decided that Uber drivers can't have ads, but taxi drivers can. But before we talk about any of that, let's ironically watch an ad from our sponsors who help keep the show running.
If you have rideshare insurance, you know what a disaster it is. It's super expensive. Some guys are paying over $100 a month for it on top of their regular insurance. So we're working with an insurance company to help lower prices and get better coverage. They're working on a plan where Uber and Lyft drivers will either pay by the mile or by the hour. You'll only pay for what you use, but we need some information from you, the drivers. We need to know on average how far and how long you drive with Uber and Lyft each week. So would you click on the link below in the description and take just 5 minutes to fill out the survey? We'd really appreciate it.
From Reuters, New York City can ban ads inside Uber Lyft vehicles, U.S. Appeals Court. A federal appeals court on Tuesday said New York City can ban advertising inside vehicles driven for companies such as Uber and Lyft, handing a victory to the millions of passengers who said it finds such ads extremely annoying. Oh, bite me. You're already getting a ride for peanuts. So you have to be annoyed a little bit. Reversing a lower court ruling, the Second U.S. District Court of Appeals in Manhattan ruled 3-0 that the ban did not violate the First Amendment in a case brought by a technology company that places digital content inside ride-sharing vehicles. Chief Judge Robert Katzman called the 2-decade-old ban a reasonable means to advance the city's substantial interest in, quote, improving the overall passenger experience. The ban included an exception for taxi TV, which the city's Taxi and Limousine Commission let medallion cab owners display to offset the cost of installing mandatory technology to help passengers monitor their fares and pay by credit card. Well, what about the Uber and Lyft drivers? What about, their cost of installing mandatory technology? I mean, here's the thing. I didn't talk about this, but in Florida, Lyft has at least said that, they will not be accepting for certain types of rides cars that are any older than 2017. Now, that hasn't happened in New York yet. I can see it happening in New York, especially with a vehicle cap. Well, what happens when you have to start paying upgrade fees and maintenance costs? Like, there are expenses that come with ride sharing, even though Uber is the middleman. And so, having a Wrapify, having a Vugo, having a Cargo, having all those sorts of things, a stereo. By the way, you can get referral links to pretty much all of these below, just so you know. Because, I'm kind of shilling out a little bit right now. Ads help pay for the channel. Anyway, I'm running that joke into the ground. But why can't Uber and Lyft get the same treatment as the cab companies? It's interesting how the cab companies say that Uber and Lyft have all of these advantages over them. Like, they need to be regulated because they have an advantage over taxis. Like, they are charging way too little, which is true, by the way, but not illegal. And it's like, and their technology is way more convenient. It's like, well, you can make convenient technology too. And then it's like, oh, Uber and Lyft cannot have ads. People find them annoying. However, we have mandatory car costs and vehicle maintenance. So, we should be allowed to have the ads. Yeah, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Vugo Inc., the Minnesota-based plaintiff, sued New York City in 2015 over the ban, which said it unconstitutionally impeded its commercial speech rights. Its ads differ from taxi TV because passengers cannot turn them off or mute them. Vugo splits ad revenue with drivers. So my question to that comment is, if there's a way to mute them or turn them off, does that mean Vugo can then get back in the Uber and Lyft cars? Can they? That's what it sounds like to me. A lawyer for Vugo had no immediate comment. New York City's law department, through a spokesman, said it was pleased the court upheld the ad rules, quote, which directly advanced the city's strong interest in promoting passenger comfort for its residents. Yeah, I've been to New York City, and guess what? Your traffic sucks. And your subway's way overcrowded. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like New York City. I actually like to frequently visit there, particularly for the Broadway shows. But when I think of comfort and driving or transportation, I'm not thinking of New York. I'm thinking of Japan. I'm thinking of Texas. I'm thinking of, maybe to a certain extent, Arizona. But no, not New York. The decision reversed a February 2018 ruling by U.S. District Judge Ronnie Abrams in Manhattan. She had said the ban lacked a, quote, sufficient fit with the city's goal of shielding passengers from annoying ads, saying the city could have required on-off switches or mute buttons, and that Vugo's ads were no more annoying than taxi TV, which I agree. Katzman, however, endorsed the city's effort to help residents and visitors enjoy peace and quiet from the rear seat, and said the city was entitled as a policy matter to exempt yellow cab owners who upgraded their technology. Yeah, except Uber and Lyft drivers upgrade their technology too. In some cases anyway. Not all of them. Most actually give up once they realize how much the pay sucks. But people do upgrade their vehicles for this. So why aren't they allowed to have Vugo in their car? Quote, the prohibition is the most direct and perhaps the only effective approach to prevent the harms of intrusive and annoying advertising, he wrote. What about taxi TV? That's just as annoying. Vugo filed a similar lawsuit against Chicago in February 2017. That case was dismissed in December 2018, according to court records. The case is Vugo Inc. versus City of New York, 2nd U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, number 18-807. So, yeah, this is one of those stories that definitely highlights a concerning problem with regulating rideshare, because one of the things that people will bring up once in a while is like, the government is not interested in regulating because of drivers. They're interested in regulating because of what they can get out of it. Like, for example, that tax that California has to pay, the rider safety tax, because San Francisco decided they wanted to charge Uber and Lyft like a tax to help pay for roads and stuff like that. And they want to expand it. Well, a lot of people are saying that even that things like that in AB5 are really more about congestion, and the city, the state, they're like, hey, we see all these Uber and Lyft cars, where's our money? That's what it's about, apparently. And I kind of agree with them to a certain extent. I think AB5 is partially funded from politicians who simply want to add a tax, which wouldn't help anyone, of course, but I'm sure it would get California a little bit more money. And then you have this situation with Chicago and New York. We have precedent that people will sit in a taxi for a TV station and they will watch ads. Heck, these TVs are at gas stations. There are advertisements everywhere in New York City. But for some reason, Uber and Lyft can't have them. It's a distraction in your Uber and Lyft. And here's the thing, the Vugo won't even hurt Uber or Lyft. That's something the drivers do. The same drivers that New York put this supposed minimum wage and vehicle cap law on the book because they want to help the drivers out, and yet they're actually taking out a significant revenue stream for them by doing this. All because, in my opinion, the limousine and the taxi companies are paying for this. It's like, hey, we're paying these fees to have this advertising. Uber and Lyft aren't paying, and hey, we were paying first and we will pay more to keep them out. And so New York says, okay, we'll keep them out. We will kick them out of the system and they won't be able to have advertisements. Sure, it doesn't actually hurt Uber and Lyft, it just hurts the drivers, but hey, we can do that. And you know what's going to happen now? Ironically, because New York wants the taxi industry to thrive. Clearly they do. That's why they're letting the taxi and limousine position, passing it. But all those people who hate ads so much, you know what? They're just going to call Ubers and Lyfts. because it's like advertising. Hey, Uber and Lyft, no advertising. None whatsoever. So this is amazing. This is definitely one of those situations where I fully believe that the government is not doing this in the interest for passengers or drivers. They're doing it in favor of the taxi and limousine companies. Granted, they have been lobbying a lot more, so they have a stronger stranglehold on them, and we just have to, I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. I mean, the taxi industry is becoming more and more irrelevant, although I don't want them to go away. I believe they should be there to try to keep all these gig companies on their feet. But there is no reason the government should be giving them special treatment and not the, Uber and Lyft drivers. Like, I mean, yeah, New York City has that medallion system specifically so that they can control the amount of taxi drivers, and so the taxi drivers don't get screwed too much on the payment. They won't do that for Uber and Lyft, but they will let the taxi industry make more money with taxi TV. But Vugo and Rapify, Cargo, all those companies, apparently that's all too much. Amazing. So that's where we're going to leave that topic. What do you think about this? Do you think this is right? Do you think this is wrong? Do you agree with them? Disagree? I would love to know. So comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way, telling the channel runs smoothly and you get access to my Patreon's exclusive blog. Also, if gas prices are just a little too high for you, check out the Get Upside app below. It's totally free, but you get cash back on every gas purchase. If you want more content from me that's a little different from what you see on this channel, check out my other YouTube channels at Kevin T. Rodriguez, the Apptrepreneur Vlogs, and Autograph Hound. And finally, if you want to talk to me or other fellow rideshare drivers, check us out at the Apptrepreneur Hangouts on Facebook. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.